From the steam engines of the 1800s to the typewriters of the 20th century, every wave of automation has changed the way we work. But what happens when AI starts writing and thinking like us? Pretty much everyone in tech agrees that AI large language models like ChatGPT are a generational change with what we can do and automate with software. It's being dubbed as the fifth industrial revolution, and automation means jobs, and jobs means people. So naturally there are lots of fears about the future, particularly in areas like job displacement. However, the reality is usually an improved quality of life. But this time things might be different. AI is not the same as previous industrial revolutions. It's smarter than humans in some areas, and its development is progressing at an ever-increasing rate. So in this video, we're going to look at what the AI revolution looks like, how it links to Jevons Paradox, and explore the big AGI conundrum. Now, the reason why AI is so widely discussed at the moment is because of its rapid rate of development. It took 2 months for ChatGPT to reach 100 million users. And since then, we've seen some insane improvements and new features like GPT-4, plugins, the code interpreter, and now custom instructions. In my 20 years following the internet space, there has never been a faster growth in any app or bit of software. But it makes sense because ChatGPT provides a massive boost to productivity. Data from Productive shows that it is already in the top 11 most popular shadow IT apps on the internet. Now I'm excited to see how AI technology is developing. And also I'm keen to learn and share with you how it can be used to become more productive and efficient. That's part of the reason I set up this channel, but I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little part of me that has some fears. Mainly around powerful AI being controlled by a select few people or large corporations. So I think that we do need a serious effort to get regulations in place to avoid such a situation. But let's park my fears for now and see if history can give us some insight into what happens next. Now, these kinds of revolutions have been happening throughout history, and usually people get into a frenzy about losing their job. Have you ever heard of the Luddites? A Luddite is now a blanket term used for people who dislike new technology, but they were originally a group of English textile workers who rioted in the early 19th century against the introduction of new machines. They broke into factories, smashed the machines that were taking their jobs, and even set fire to factory owners' homes, all in revolt of automation. I can understand their feelings. The unknown is often scary, which is probably the reason why lots of people are afraid of the sea. But the introduction of machines actually ushered in a whole new class of people. Boilermakers, ironsmiths, and mechanics were born out of the need for people to repair and fabricate these new innovations. When the game changed, the players did too. There is actually a classic economic fallacy called the lump of labor. It's the assumption that there is a fixed amount of work in the world. If this was true, then new jobs wouldn't be created, and feeling threatened by new technology is probably valid. But this isn't how the world works. Economists look at this thing called an employment multiplier. It basically refers to how many additional jobs are created due to another job being created. For example, if a company builds a new factory, workers will need to be hired to work in that factory. These are known as direct jobs. The factory will also need supplies and services, which creates what are known as supplier jobs. And finally, the people that work in and supply the factory will want to spend their earnings on goods and services for themselves. This then creates induced jobs. Currently in the US, every one job created in real estate creates roughly another 9 or 10 indirect jobs. That's according to the latest numbers from the Economic Policy Institute. It's a bit too early to tell what the employment multiplier will be because of AI, but we already know that more GPU power is required, which means more manufacturing. There is also huge amounts of power required, which means more innovation and development in the energy sector. And there are probably a whole host of jobs that we can't even imagine yet that could be around the corner. This same dynamic has been seen throughout history, like when manual labor was replaced by machines, which created a need for mechanics. And when horse-drawn carriages were replaced by cars, it created transport services. And when admin tasks were automated by computers, new roles in IT emerged. Honestly, who in 1900 could have predicted software development, data analysis, or digital marketing to be actual jobs? Every time we go through a wave of automation, whole classes of jobs go away, but new classes of jobs get created. There is frictional pain and dislocation in that process. And sometimes the new jobs go to different people in different places. But over time, the total number of jobs doesn't go down, and we have all become more prosperous. So, if the rise of automation is just a recurring theme in human history, what is it about this time then that makes it so different? Well, the key difference in my view is that over the last 200 years, automation has focused on creating superhuman capabilities. We've gone from manual labor to machines capable of lifting heavy loads. We've created superhuman speed with machines capable of assembling hundreds or thousands of intricate products every day. The problem here lies in the fact that we've slowly been moving up the scale of automation, from farm work to blue-collar work, to white-collar work. Now, with AI, even the white-collar jobs are facing automation. Jobs like data analysts, financial advisors, legal professionals, customer service representatives, and even medical diagnosticians. We have upped the scale of automation so much that we are reaching a point where there are no tasks left that are beyond the reach of machines. If machines can do practically everything, then what need is there for us? Well, here, I think it's useful to talk about another aspect from economic history, the Jevons Paradox, also known as the rebound effect. Back in the 1800s, we discovered how to make steam engines super efficient, so trains could travel longer distances using way less coal. At the time, it seemed like the best way to reduce the total amount of coal being consumed in the world. Well, here's where the paradox strikes. With more efficient engines, the cost of riding a train went down, so people started using trains more frequently. This actually led to an overall increase in coal consumption. So even though the engines use less coal, we ended up using even more coal overall. Jevons tells us that if it becomes much cheaper and more efficient to do something, you might do more of it. A more famous example of this phenomenon is ATMs. Back in the 80s and 90s, ATMs became the new cool thing. People could withdraw cash and perform simple transactions without needing to visit a bank. Now, at the time, people started to think it would mean the end of bank tellers, but instead of decreasing, bank teller employment actually increased during that period. So how did this happen? Well, first, ATMs made running a bank branch more cost-effective, so the number of tellers required to operate a branch decreased. But the banks saw an opportunity to compete for more customers, so they opened more branches, which actually led to more teller jobs needed overall. Second, while ATMs automated some tasks, they made the remaining tasks that couldn't be automated even more valuable, like serving the complex financial needs of small business customers. As a result, the role of tellers evolved, focusing more on valuable human interaction this time. So, we have actually seen this level of automation in white-collar jobs already. And based on history, we've seen jobs evolve and focus on the higher value parts of a role, which more often than not revolves around higher levels of human interaction. This shows that new technology can make tasks easier and more efficient, but it also opens up new possibilities and allows us to do more with the same workforce. At first, we fit the new tools into old ways of working, but over time, we adapt and discover new ways of doing things. Now, what does all of this mean for AI? Well, just like past technologies, the Jevons Paradox implies that AI will create, accelerate, and multiply jobs. Even when a machine lets a person do 10 times more work, you're still going to need a person. While it might seem consistent with the pattern of change we've seen with previous technological waves, there's one thing this time that's certainly different. This time, the change is happening so much faster. And it's unlike anything we've seen before. Traditionally, technology has developed at a much slower pace. We've had time to adjust to big shifts like the internet, computers, and iPhones. The Apple II shipped in 1977, the IBM PC in 1981, and the Mac in 1984. But it took until the early 1990s before there were 100 million PCs in use. There are 100 million ChatGPT users today after just 2 months. So by comparison, the adoption of AI feels incredibly quick, almost like it's getting away from us. But something I found interesting are these charts from Productive and Okta. They show their average customer uses hundreds of different software applications, while enterprise customers use nearly 500. But despite the large number of applications, only a small portion of enterprises have moved their workflows into using cloud technology. This shows that it takes a long time for enterprises to adopt new technology. Why? Well, companies often have older systems and rules to follow, which slows down adopting new technologies. What does this mean for the future of AI at work? Well, this means that whatever you thought was going to happen, it's going to take years, not weeks. You may be experimenting with ChatGPT now and think it's a threat to your job, but it's probably not replacing you just yet. It's true that AI has a high potential for transforming businesses, but it's not an instant fix. Introducing AI into large enterprises is not as easy as providing access to an API. It involves a lot more than that. There's layers of control, security, versioning, and other technical stuff that has to happen, especially in highly regulated industries. The tools and tasks people use at work are complex and specialized, representing years and years of work, institutional knowledge, and importantly, brand identity. Selling technology alone isn't going to cut it. And ChatGPT is all about its generality, being a one-size-fits-all solution for everything. But different professionals require tailored solutions. A lawyer seeking a first draft of a legal document will have different requirements than an insurer investigating an insurance claim. So, simply having a text prompt and a go button won't be enough. ChatGPT needs to evolve from simple prompt boxes to more sophisticated GUIs and buttons if it is to meet these diverse needs effectively. More crucially, ChatGPT makes mistakes. It provides overconfident answers to anything, but it may not be necessarily correct. Say if I ask it to create a mystery story, it might include elements like a crime scene, a detective, and a plot twist. These patterns generally fit the genre of mystery. But if I ask it again, then it's going to come up with a different plotline altogether. Because in reality, it's not doing a database lookup. It's merely matching a pattern, which doesn't fit so well for industries like law and finance. So, really you have to ask, where are LLMs useful then? Are automated assistants that can follow patterns useful even if they need supervision? In the previous wave of machine learning, we had unlimited assistants that could read vast amounts of data, but we still had to verify their work. Now we have unlimited assistants that can write, but again, we need to double-check their output. So, where does the practical use of these unlimited assistants lie? We've actually just come full circle to the Jevons Paradox. Ultimately, this brings us to a fundamental question. What if we had a system with no errors or limitations, capable of matching and even surpassing human capabilities? Well, we'd probably have a machine doing all the work of people. This is where artificial general intelligence is truly different. It would allow for the complete automation of high knowledge roles, meaning that human involvement wouldn't be necessary at all. But you might be wondering, is AGI even close to becoming a reality? No one really knows. As of now, however, we don't have AGI, and without it, we only have another wave of automation. Though it's advancing rapidly, it's more than likely to have a slower rate of adoption in the workplace. What do you think? Should we all be scared of how quickly AI is advancing? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for joining today. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content on AI and how it's reshaping industries. Also make sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.